On a moonlit night in October 1999, a simple journey through Hertfordshire would forever change one man's life. This is the story of Colin Keelty and his encounter with something that defies explanation. Colin Keelty was an ordinary man, a truck driver with no interest in the paranormal. In 1999, he was backpacking between East Hull and Hornsey when his path took him through the quiet town of Hatfield. October 4th, 1999, 8:30 p.m. The full moon illuminated the landscape like daylight. Colin was walking through a local park when something in the distance caught his attention. What Colin saw would haunt him for decades. In a gap under a hedgerow, he observed what appeared to be the hindquarters of a large canine, but standing upright, defying natural explanation. As Colin tried to process what he was seeing, a friend coincidentally appeared, offering him a ride. When Colin looked back from the car, the creature was standing fully visible in the field. The encounter left psychological scars that would manifest for years to come. The nightmares were so vivid that Colin would wake up screaming, drenched in sweat. For a man with no previous interest in cryptids, the experience was transformative. Colin's encounter sparked a 25-year obsession. He began systematically searching the area, equipped with maps, lights, and walkie-talkies, all while keeping his quest secret from his family. In September 2015, Colin's persistence seemed to pay off. While hiking through private forest, he discovered what he believed to be evidence of the creature's presence. What happened next would convince Colin that his original sighting was no hallucination. Colin realized he was being stalked. As he moved, it moved. When he sped up, it matched his pace. At the end of the bracken, he caught a glimpse of his pursuer. Colin's encounters weren't limited to distant sightings. He claimed to have found physical evidence, a three-fingered handprint on his car window, though the photograph he took was subsequently lost. Despite decades of searching and multiple reported encounters, definitive proof remains out of reach. Yet Colin's conviction never wavered. What makes Colin Keelty's case particularly compelling isn't just the details of his encounters, but his character as a witness. Described by paranormal researchers as a no-nonsense individual with no history of attention-seeking behavior, the psychological impact of his experiences, the years of nightmares, the obsessive searching, the reluctance to share his story publicly, all suggest genuine trauma rather than fabrication. Colin's case isn't isolated. Reports of similar creatures have emerged across the UK, from the historic Lincolnshire Dogman dating back to the 1600s, to modern sightings in Yorkshire, Staffordshire, and beyond. Yet in a nation where cryptid sightings are relatively rare compared to North America, the Hatfield case stands out for its detail, consistency, and the credibility of its primary witness. Today, Hatfield appears as ordinary as any English town. Dog walkers traverse the same paths where Colin had his life-changing encounter. The creature, if it ever existed, has left no trace. But for Colin Keelty, the experience remains as real as the day it happened. His story serves as a reminder that in our modern world, mystery still lurks in the shadows. And sometimes, just sometimes, the shadows might be looking back. I kept looking at it, like, is it a cow? Is it a deer? It just looked like a dog's back legs. But then I thought, hold on, where's its front legs? I said, look, there's a dog standing in the gate hole. He just looked at me and said, "Co, you're working a lot of hours. Get some rest." To be honest, I had nightmares after that. For years, I kept waking up. Not every night, obviously. But some months would go by and I'd have another one. The recurring nightmare is this thing jumped out of the gate and just ripped me to shreds. I found a huge pile of poo before hearing footsteps that sounded like thuds. As I was coming to the stream, I thought, what's that smell? Oh man, that is putrid, really foul. All this time, the hairs on the back of my neck stood up. The smell was putrid. I got on all fours to see through the bracken. Then I got back up, and it got back up. I started walking slowly, and this thing was following me. When I got to the end, I just glanced over and there's this. I don't know what the heck it was. It was huge, hairy. Why I thought it was a dogman is because of the smell. I like to think these things are real, but I'm open-minded about the supernatural. I do really think these things move about the country through green belts.